Most anime fans who start working out make the same 4 mistakes, and I actually did every single one of them. It took me 4 years to realize these mistakes and actually develop the lean, athletic anime body that I always wanted. So in this video, I'll reveal what these 4 mistakes are and exactly how to overcome them so you can start seeing more results today. Number 1, not training hard enough. If you're a beginner and you don't have a gym, which a lot of us guys start off like that, myself included, then you have to train using whatever weights you have lying around. Maybe that's some books in a backpack, maybe you have some dumbbells, and maybe you have nothing. And when you are training at home, you need to be pushing yourself close to failure. Regardless of wherever you train, you need to push close to failure. But when you don't have that much weight, it gets kind of hard to actually have enough resistance to get your muscles to that point. So then when you're training at home with these light weights, it's a lot harder to get to that failure point. And ultimately, you're going to build less muscle because you're not stimulating the muscle as much. And even if you have a gym, most beginners don't really know what training hard even looks like. So now let me give you a couple of tips that will help you push harder and get closer to failure, especially if you don't have a lot of weights and you're training at home, but this will be applicable to you even if you do have weights. So first of all, just add more reps. If you don't have that much weight around, then to get closer to failure, then just do more repetitions, right? So if normally you're doing 10 to 15 reps for a certain exercise, bump that up to 20, bump that up to 30. And when you get to that point and you're doing 20, 30 reps per exercise, sure, it might be a little bit more fatiguing, whatever, but when you have nothing else and this is your only option, you might just have to take the L and increase the reps. So then you can actually get closer to failure because you don't have any other weight. It can be a little bit sus beyond 30. Like there are some people who do make gains doing above that, but I'd say just as a rule of thumb, try to keep like 30 as your maximum number of reps. And also for certain exercises, this just doesn't really work well because, for example, sit-ups. You can probably rep out 60 plus sit-ups right now and you're not even gonna be tired when you rest 30 seconds and you have to do it again, right? Of course, this depends on your beginning strength levels, but for most people, sit-ups with no weight is not that difficult. Like I remember I tried doing the One Punch Man workout, which we're gonna fucking cover, don't you worry. But when I first started working out, I did the One Punch Man workout. I did the 100 squats like nothing. I did the 100 sit-ups like nothing. And then the 100 push-ups, I just had to break up into like a bunch of different chunks and it took me a while. But like the sit-ups and the squats were really fucking easy. So then we need something else besides more reps to get closer to failure. And that's where we have using a harder variation. If push-ups become too easy or too hard, right? There's other variations, right? We can do knee push-ups to make it easier, or we could do diamond push-ups to make it harder, or we could do decline push-ups, or we can do deficit push-ups, right? There's so many different things we could do. If bodyweight squats are too easy, we can do a one-legged squat, which is also called a pistol squat. And if that's a little bit too hard, you can just like hold something on the side for extra balance. And even for planks, you think, oh, there's nothing you can do for a plank besides adding weight. Well, if you actually move up your elbows, instead of being parallel to the ground and you bring your elbows up to your eyes, you will actually make it way harder. Like literally when I did this, it was challenging for me. And I'm like decently strong, right? I'm not a beginner anymore. If I tried that when I was a beginner, I'd like fucking die. Now, that's like a good exercise for me to do. And so you can still find variations of these bodyweight exercises that you're doing now as a beginner and continually make it more difficult as you get stronger, just with more variations. The third tip for getting closer to failure is to just add more weights. Now, if you're training at home and you don't have a lot of weights around, I talked about this before, but just take a backpack, put some books in there. It's a great way to add resistance. And if that gets too easy, maybe get out the fucking suitcase, put a bunch of shit in there, and then because it's like wider, it's a little bit more awkward, it's gonna be a bit heavier and it's gonna be a bit harder to move. And if that gets too easy, just try to find some oddly shaped object around the house, like an empty bookshelf or something, or like a big rock outside. Like, dude, you can get creative and you will get more jacked if you just find heavier shit to move around. And of course, if you're at the gym, just use heavier fucking dumbbells. Like, it's not that difficult. And the last way to get closer to failure, especially if none of the other methods are gonna work for you, like you can't do a harder variation, you can't add more weight, you can't really add more reps, what you can do is focus on the stretch and go very slow. Because if you're going really slow, like just imagine, it's kind of difficult already to do some movements. Now imagine if we slowed that bitch down and you were just in that deep stretch and you're like, oh fuck, and you just gotta really push, right? If you don't have a lot of weights, this is a great way to make an exercise way more intense. Now, as a small note, if you are a complete, absolute noob, you've literally never worked out before and you're in your first week or 2 weeks of working out, please take it easy, work yourself into it gradually, because if you don't and you go balls to the walls first exercise, first workout, you're going to experience something called delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS. And as you can probably tell by the name, it's delayed. So you'll feel sore, not like the day after, maybe not even the second day after, but like the third day. All of a sudden, you're going to feel really sore. You're not going to be able to fucking move. So if you want to avoid this, because like this will literally take you out of the gym for an entire week, what you do is, as a complete beginner, just don't go super hard for the first 2 weeks. Ease into it. Oh, this feels a little bit difficult. Just stop there. You have a pass at that point. Beyond 2-3 weeks, you don't have an excuse. At that point, you really do need to start pushing hard. Now, the second mistake that I was making of why I wasn't making progress in the gym was because I wasn't progressively overloading. All that means is week by week, you must be increasing the difficulty of your workout. Now, let me tell you what I did, dude. I saw on the workout routine, it said 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And I was like, okay. I found a weight and I was able to do it for, 11 reps. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And next week, I did it for the same amount of reps because that's what the paper says. I should do it for this reps. So then the next week I did the same thing, and then again and again and again, and for months on end, I just stayed at the same weights. And no wonder I didn't grow, because think about it, dude. If you're literally putting the same weight that you're doing on your first day as 2 months in, then you've made no progress. So it doesn't matter, the thing says 3 sets of 12, right? You have to increase it over time. And if you need to increase the weight to stay within that rep range, then you do that. At the very least, dude, just add 1 rep per week. So if week 1 you were doing 3 sets of 10, next week do 3 sets of 11, next week 3 sets of 12. And then if you need to go up to 3 sets of 14, 15, so then you can increase the weight, go back down to 10, then do that. Now, the third mistake that I was making was that I was horribly inconsistent. And I don't want to understate this, dude. I believe that inconsistency is the #1 biggest issue that anime watchers will have when trying to go to the gym. Because think about it. Anime watchers are spending their time watching these really stimulating fantasy shows where we can just immerse ourselves in the world. Usually we're playing video games. Usually we're doom scrolling on TikTok or binge watching YouTube. We're watching porn. All of these hyper stimulating activities that are really fun and enjoyable will make it harder to want to push ourselves. Because why would you want to go to the gym, lift heavy weights, and feel discomfort when on your computer 2 seconds away is literally video games and YouTube and anime? It makes it really difficult to want to stick with something that's difficult because you have pleasure at your fingertips. Trust me, dude, I literally spent 4 years of my life after I started working out, going consistently and then quitting. And then I'm like, I'm gonna make a change in my life again. And then I give up. This constant cycle of I'm doing good and then I relapse was all caused by the fact I didn't know how to stay consistent. And so everything else I talk about in this video literally does not fucking matter if you don't stick to the gym. And that's why I believe that this is the most important issue that you will face, dude. But what if I told you that you didn't have to fight with yourself? You didn't have to do this internal battle of like, should I work out? I kind of know I should, but I don't really want to. What if you could just set your mind on, I want to work out, and you just go and do it? Like a GPS, you plug it in, I want to work out, I want to build an anime body, I want to have this lean, muscular physique. You could just turn off your brain and get the results that you wanted, right? There is an entire process behind that. It's not luck. And I detail the entire thing inside of my course, the Training Arc Blueprint. It's a 4-hour course. I go over literally everything that I wish I knew when I got started working out so that I could speed run myself to my dream body. But I'll go over one of the lessons here, specifically from module number 5, Waystone Strategies, to help you on the right track for staying consistent with the gym. The lesson I want to teach you is something called micro baby steps. This is a strategy that you can use anytime you find yourself having these mental gymnastics of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go to the gym. I have a lot of work to do. So if you ever find yourself in that scenario, I want you to do this, dude. Tell yourself that you don't have to go to the gym now. You don't have to work out now. All you have to do is put on your shoes. All you have to do is get up off your chair, right? You're going to break it down into micro baby steps. That's the name of the fucking formula. And every single step, you will tell yourself, I'm not working out now. I'm just doing the next thing. Explain it step by step by step by step by step. So then you literally can turn off your brain and say, okay, I have to get up. Then I have to walk to the door. I have to open the door. I have to get my shoes on. I have to get my gym clothes on. And when you do that, you will find that it's actually really easy to get yourself to doing the workout. Because let's be honest, dude, the thing that's difficult isn't actually the workout itself. Like a lot of the times when you work out, you're like, man, this was really fun. I enjoyed this. I wish I'd do this all the time. But it's those thoughts of like, oh, it's gonna be difficult. Oh, I don't really want to. I feel kind of comfortable here. You need to overcome those thoughts. So just using this micro baby step framework, that will help you get to the gym way more times, and you'll literally just find yourself being way more consistent because you're using this. Now, the fourth and final mistake was that I was using a bad workout routine. There's a lot of free workout routines online. There's a lot of free workout apps online. But the thing is, a lot of them are shit. They'll tell you, oh, you'll do 1 day for your abs and it'll have like 18 different ab exercises. Or you'll have like a bicep day or a tricep day. It's like, oh my fucking God. Why are you doing 13 different exercises for your fucking tricep when all you need is a couple of key compound movements that you do 2 or 3 times a week, and that's it? Like all these apps, all these free workout routines, they overcomplicate it, and they don't give you the actual necessities that you need in a workout routine to see results. So if you want to know what those necessities are in a workout routine, let me tell you what they are right now so you can actually fix it, get a better workout routine, and actually start seeing the results that you've been wanting. The very first thing is that you must have exercises that hit all muscles of your body. Like that sounds like fucking common sense, like, oh, if we're working out our body, we should hit all the muscles of the body, right? Like you'd think that'd be common sense, right? But let's just take, for example, the One Punch Man workout. 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 100, I just forgot the push-ups. Okay, anyway, sit-ups, squats, and push-ups. Can you tell me what's wrong with that workout, dude? Well, if we think about it, push-ups hit, the front part of your body, the shoulders, the chest, the triceps. Sit-ups hit our abs, squats hit our legs. What's missing? Just the entire backside of our entire body. So if you did a workout routine like the One Punch Man workout, sure, it can get you into the gym and, it'll be like your entryway point, but it's we have to admit, it's a shit routine. A lot of beginner workouts tend to skip certain muscle groups in favor of focusing on specific ones like abs. You'll be 20 different ab exercises so you can get a 6-pack, but then there's literally no rear delt volume, there's no side delt volume, there's no upper chest volume, maybe we're not even touching calves, right? Fundamental parts of our body we're just completely ignoring. The second thing that we need from our workout routines is just an evenly distributed rep range. So most of our exercises should be within the 5 to 15-ish rep range, because that's a good rep range where you're still able to develop a little bit of strength, you're still developing some muscle, and it's not too taxing. If you go above 15 reps, we're gonna be kind of in the realm of okay, for maybe certain exercises, this is better. And then if we go below 5 reps, that's gonna be purely, mostly strength type stuff that's better suited for other exercises. We want to have a well-rounded selection of rep ranges because if we think about it, what is the point of working out? we want to build muscle, yeah, but like what builds that muscle? We need to stimulate our muscles, and it's through a fancy term called mechanical tension. And if we're only hitting our muscles from the exact same rep range, then we are actually kind of missing out on some stimulus that we can be hitting our muscles with. Because imagine if for some exercises we hit our chest, for example, with a really low rep range, right? That's gonna hit our body in a very different way than if we hit our chest with 20 reps. And by this variety of rep ranges, we will ultimately grow the chest in a fuller, more balanced way that you're not gonna get if you just spam 3 sets of 12 for everything. The third thing that you need in your workout routine is an overload scheme, which is just a plan on how you're going to increase the difficulty of the workout over time. Now, you can kind of just like in your head think about it and be like, oh, I guess I could probably do that. But if you're a complete beginner and you're not even aware of this, your workout routine isn't gonna tell you, oh yeah, by the way, after week 4, what you need to do is increase the weight, or you need to do this variation instead. And so if you don't have any idea of like what progression scheme you should do, it's like, what the fuck is even that?
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
Like I said earlier, you can just do increasing 1 rep every single week. Now, for certain exercises, that's not going to be ideal, and like there's other things that we can do that might be better for different exercises. So if you want to just turn off your brain and just have a workout routine that has everything built in, so including like the sets and reps, exactly how to do it, the progression scheme, and then everything that I'm talking about in this list that's needed for a good workout routine, I have 27 different pre-made workout routines inside of my Training Arc blueprint. I just want to tell you that because it is fucking sick, and if you do feel like you need the extra help, it's there for you. I made it for that exact reason. Now, the fourth and final thing that we need for our workout routine is just a good set of exercise selection. Because like I was talking about earlier of like why we need balanced rep ranges, it's the same reason of why we need balanced exercise selection, because we want to hit our muscles from all angles, right? Like, I'll tell you the story, dude. When I started training my rear delts, because most beginner routines don't, so my rear delts were lagging, I was like, okay, let me do some face pulls. And what I did, this is another fucking mistake. Like, dude, literally every mistake in this video I fucking made. It's kind of funny. But what I did was I found low to high face pulls. I quite liked them, so I just did them all the time for months on end. I didn't do a single other exercise for training my rear delts. And because I'm lean, you can literally see the specific muscle fibers that I trained on my rear delt and which ones were not trained. It's actually fucking hilarious. That's why if you want well-rounded muscles that are fully developed optimally without like some weird fucking imbalances, it's like, oh, this one random part's kind of small, you have to do multiple exercises. Like, dude, I wish I knew this before. Maybe my rear delts wouldn't look so shit now if it wasn't for that. But I want to tell you now so that you're aware. Have maybe one exercise at the beginning of the week for one muscle, and then a different one that hits it from a different angle, probably also with a different rep range like we talked about. So maybe like you'll do push-ups for just like normal push-ups for one day, and then maybe you can do decline push-ups, or maybe you'll do like explosive incline push-ups, something else. If you can do that, you will be in a really good position for muscle growth. So that is all of the mistakes that I was making that I wish I knew earlier so that I could have built my dream anime body a lot sooner. And by the way, if you don't have a gym and you work out at home and like low-key, you're kind of lazy, like trust me, I understand, dude, then I actually made a full workout routine of exercises that you can do that hit your entire body completely from your bed. And it has all the principles that I talked about in this entire video, so you don't even have to worry about like, oh, is this right? Is this okay? You can just watch the workout routine, follow that, and you'll be in a really good position. So I'll link that video for you right here if you want an entire workout you can do from your bed.